All right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, YouTube family. How y'all doing today? So today, this is the second session on this tattoo. Sorry, I didn't get. I don't know if I did get the first session up, but yeah, this is the second session on this tattoo. I kind of left this flower mapped out because I didn't want to re-stencil it. But one mistake I did make is I mapped it out too dark. You know, I don't like to use lines in my pieces. But as you look at the center of the flower, you see a lot of those lines. I ain't gonna say they lines, but they look like lines. But I mapped it out with a mag. But if I would have used the line, yeah, I would have probably just used a blood wash or some light wash where you can't really see it. But I just was moving a little faster, I guess. And this is the consequences, I guess. You know, when you moving fast, you're not really paying attention. But we're gonna get off of that and see how I've been coloring. Let's talk about how I've been coloring lately. And this is the Ambition Ninja, most likely Ambition Ninja or the Mass Pro Fold 2. That's the two machines I've been using to color with, because the Ambition Ninja is a 4-stroke, which is real powerful. The Mass Pro Fold 2 is a 4.2 stroke. That's what I've been using it on. But looking at the machine, that's definitely is the Ambition Ninja. And I want to talk about how I've been coloring lately. So I've been looking at this little course, this little tattoo class kind of video, and they talk about coloring on the go. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that, coloring on the go. So basically, instead of taking out all these pre-mixed colors, basically on this tattoo, I believe I just took out my red, my orange, no, not the orange, my bad, my red, my yellow, and my white. And the only reason I need those three colors is red, yellow, that's gonna make that orangish tone for me, and that red white, that's gonna make that pinkish tone for me. So as I mix it up, getting lighter oranges, lighter pinks, lighter reds, I'm mixing up, and all that's within the same color family. So I can easily mix that up to get those colors, and I don't have to have out my orange. I need the yellow because it's the primary, and you need your red because it's the primary. But you don't technically have to have out an orange. But if you got a pre-mixed orange already, yes, take it out. But I think once I run through all my orange, I don't think I'm going to use a pre-mixed orange anymore. Unless I'm going to need a certain orange. Because I can really just make that with a red and a yellow. But there's certain colors by me doing mix on the go. Certain colors I know that I need to have something a bit darker. Like if I'm mixing blue and yellow, that's going to create me a green. I mean, I don't need to take out my green colors. But if I have a light blue and a yellow, it's going to give me green, but it's not going to give me that jungle grass green that I want. So you have to use like a cobalt blue, a darker blue with that yellow. And that's going to give you that grass green, that jungle green. So I think it's just a kind of trial and error. But you learn as you go. We ain't just moving and doing whatever we got to do. No. We taking our time. We kind of analyzing the situation, what we need to do. And one thing with color, I'll say, I'll dip in the different colors. And I will tap it on the paper towel to see what color it really looks like. And if it don't look like the color that I'm really going for, I'll just rinse it out in the rinse water. And boom, retry to mix it again. But that's one thing why color take longer. It takes a lot more thought process. Black and gray, it only requires you to think about, okay, what tone is this, and we're going to go with it. Color, nah, it's a lot more mixing, a lot more different tones you could get versus like black and gray. My bad, did I say black and gray is a lot more tones you get? No, black and gray is a lot more easier because you only got 3 cups out. Right now, as you see, I'm working with probably 10 caps, and I've been trying to limit it because I do want to work with that limited color palette and start mixing more. You see, that's like a reddish orange. And I just keep on mixing it. Look, I'm about to rinse it out, look like. But if you dab back and forth, just keep on messing with it. And over time, I believe I wish I would have been doing this, because I believe you will become a better artist by doing this. This definitely keep you on your toes. Make sure you don't get comfortable. Because mixing on the go, yeah, you got to kind of pay attention. And I definitely like how it's been going in the skin. And you ain't got to keep on using a basic color. I think where it's come in handy at is on like realistic coloring, for example. Like if this was anime, I don't think you need to use Mix on the Go for anime if it's real basic coloring. But if it's like a realistic and there's multiple colors, yeah, Mix on the Go probably would definitely kind of be your friend at this point, because you could easily mix over and transition colors where it all blends in like one color family. And I did buy this book called, what is it, Understanding Light by James Gorey or something like that. But I definitely got to read more in that book, and it talks about different colors and shadows and lights, the tints, the hues, the tones, and that's a difference. Like they got the hue, which is the color. They got the tint, what if it's like a light blue mixed with white looking, or a more rich blue that's on the darker side. And they also have, what's the other one? It's the hue, the tint, and chroma. Yeah, chroma is basically like it's a more dulled out reddish pink versus it's like a highlight red or pink. So it's about how bright that color hitting versus you toning it back with some black or some dark blues, whatever like that. That's going to tone it down. So yes, the chroma, the hue, and the tint. Or you can look at tint, tone, kind of in the same thing. But also a thing that can help you with colors. Like look at your own colors in black and gray. Even if you take a picture of your color tattoo, turn it into a black and gray photo, and see how you capture that contrast. Like how much it sits apart. Like right now, if I was to put this in black and gray, I know for sure that butterfly, because that black outside edge is definitely going to stand out. But within my flower itself, I could have definitely went more richer on the shadows, because I'm not going to have too much dark tones within that flower. And this is just me critiquing my own tattoo. But that's what I want for you all as well. Critique your tattoos, take your time, because this is a way that we learn. And I'm glad I do look over these and I talk over it, because it helped me realize some things that I'm missing. And hopefully you all learn from the mistakes that I've made. Like right now with this this is a yellow sunflower, right? But I didn't do it too detailed because her skin tone is like yellow. If you look at it, that's the reason why I did the face kind of more of a brownish high yellow, I guess. Not really orange, but I try to give it more of a brownish skin tone. Because if I'd have had it too light, it would have just mixed in with her skin tone and probably wouldn't have been able to see it like that. So what I wound up doing is using my browns. I mixed it, because I don't think I keep a solid brown, which I probably use like a blue and a orange, which I was going back and forth between blue and orange to see how that brown look. But you can also use purple and yellow, and you see how that brown look. And then you probably could add, what I was adding, red to it to kind of give it more darker. Add a little green here, make it more darker. That's what mixing on the go all do though. But yeah, this definitely helped out and definitely like make me think about more what I'm doing. But look, if y'all still hanging with me right now, let me know in the comments, bro. I appreciate y'all for hanging around. And I ain't gonna say I'm just wasting my breath, but I hopefully y'all learn from this. But if y'all not learn from this, best believe me, I'm learning from this. But y'all let me know on the length of these videos. Hopefully it's not too long, because this was a recording. I think this was a recording. Yeah, because my vibe would have definitely, I would have sped it up time lapse. But yeah, this was a recording. I'm surprised I wasn't talking on top of this already. Normally I try to talk on top of videos if I'm doing a stream recording. But yeah, this coming in with our yellows. And you see how I'm mixing. It's not just yellow. I'll mix that yellow with the brown to lighten it up. And when I leave my brights for very last. I remember at one point I used to be confused, like which one I'm going to do my lights, my darks first. So I used to be in between both my lights and darks. But now I'm kind of way more confident. I'm not the best with color. I'm still learning with this color. But I definitely now save my lights for last. I'll come in with more dark medium tones, and then I'll come on top with those light tones, because I always knew why I didn't do lights first, because you tend to dirty them up. But sometimes I was doing like a lighter red first and then building my darker red on top. But now I don't attempt to go that route. I just go straight dark to light and keep building it up. And as you see that flower, you see how I got the browns and then create a little bit of detail within the petal. But like I said, the skin tone is a little orangish, a little yellowish. So I ain't want to create too much of that yellow tone. I needed more simple, darker tones that's going to help set those petals apart. I ain't want to be too detailed and get mushed up over time. The goal is to have this definitely last throughout a long period of time. So that's how I try to approach it. Keep it simple, but also you can add a little detail where you can. Alright, y'all, I ain't want, keep on rambling on and on. So I sped it up. But as you see how I took that brown, creating these shadows inside the sunflower. Because these shadows is really what's going to hold it together. That's why I'll definitely go in with those shadows first. And then you can come back, soften it out. Right there, you see I got all my browns in. Now I'm coming in with these yellows just to kind of fill it in, and it's slowly come together. You see at first it was like a dull down yellow, but then I came back for the last layer and I added like a more bright yellow. So that's what helps set it apart and make it more realistic as well, because realistic is not just I'm gonna use a flat yellow straight out the bottle, which in the beginning I thought that's what it was. I ain't know nothing about realistic product. Well, I knew about it because I was drawing in realistic before actually trying to tattoo in realistic. So yeah, more of them tones is gonna give it more realistic versus a flat color in the center of your flowers. Yeah, that's not the way to go. And you see as I shape out the rest of this flower, I'm using my brown. I wanted to go darker brown, but I went kind of more medium brown because you don't want to go too dark. That's one thing I would say. Even though color is like you get in, get out, you don't want to do too much. You ain't got too much time to play around and try to build up. No, you get in, get out, and that's what it is. And as you see around this edge, because I was planning on already being this like a reddish, well, I'm not really red, but like purple. Is it not mahogany? No, it's like damn magenta. I kind of created this color, no lie. But no, the color that I want to put on the outside was like a darker orange. I'm talking about the color we actually did the flower. Let's go to the flower. Okay, right here. You see I did come in with like some reddish burgundy type at first. Then I started structuring with some pink. Yeah, I gotta definitely know some colors, but yeah, it definitely worked out well. But you see how the outside of that, it's a contrast, like how that reddish is popping off of that yellow, so you can see that a lot more. And I came back just to kind of knock some of this yellows in, even though it looked like they was all the way in there. I guess it wasn't bright enough, so I took a solid bright yellow and came back, pushed on top. And right here I just came to the inside of the flower. It just felt like it wasn't giving enough contrast. I probably use that dusty rose when I mix these colors, red mixed with some orangish purple. Well, yeah, now I came back to that lip because the bottom part was already done. But like I said, I definitely got a lot to touch up. But this was another 6 hours, I believe, or 8-hour session. So we definitely got a lot more to do. But I definitely wanted to come back to the bottom part of that face and touch up some things. Like the nails, they wouldn't green at first. But I wound up adding that green in it. And this the end of our session. I always give me a little slight photo shoot in when I finish. But end of this session, you can see we got the top part done, but the bottom part, look at the difference. You see that the heart jewel? Definitely got to come back and touch that for sure. But we got a lot more on the way. Let me know what y'all learned. If y'all liked the video, appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.